Here with Coach Nimz. Demons home this week for a couple of games. As we are in the now second half of the season, each game that much more important as seedings and things get sorted out over the next 8 games or so for the conference tournament. Before we talk about those games, our weekly sort of final thoughts on last week, specifically on Saturday, and how that game finished, and able to come away with a really nice win.
Yep. Point out the obvious. We made it a lot harder than it needed to be. Played tremendous first half of basketball. Came out and just were a little bit sluggish, kind of couldn't get things going offensively, and we're taking way too many quick shots. But you saw some resiliency down the end. You saw that maturity that rears its head that we love to see. And they came away with a tough win that was a must win. Their belief in themselves and their belief in their team was evident. And obviously those are things that you can really take and use, obviously moving forward. So overall, incredibly proud of the girls, fought adversity throughout the week, didn't let it slow them down, didn't let them lose their belief in themselves and their team. And, you saw that Saturday, and now it's just, can we build upon that to help propel us into Thursday's matchup, which is going to be incredibly tough.
We've done a lot of really good things this year, and a lot of things that we haven't done, this program hasn't done for many years. A lot of them go back to 2015-16, some of them even further than that, including this current rebounding stretch that we're on that goes back to the late 2000s of out-rebounding opponents for 5 straight games. Where does that rank in your hierarchy of the things that you're most proud of this year? So far, there's stuff we can still do, right? Because we've played really incredible defense and set some records there, some offensive records. But where's the rebounding that we're on right now sort of rank in that?
I would say it's at the very top. Obviously, winning the rebounding war is a game key. I share that freely simply because I'm sure it's every single coach's game key for their program as well. So no real secret. But to me, rebounding comes down to toughness and grit. And to me, that speaks volumes of their character, and they're really letting that shine, and they're really buying into a little bit more physical part of the game. And there for a while it was really just on the defensive end, really capitalizing on the defensive end. And here as of late, we're in double figures on the offensive rebounding side of things. So what that tells me is every week we try to fine tune. You've heard me say commit to correcting ourselves. And we try to make that goal very realistic. And I think every week they're hearing it, they're seeing it on the board, and they're committing to it. Are we flawless? Absolutely not. But is the program and moving in the right direction as the season progresses? Absolutely. We haven't got over the hump yet, and that's what's really tough because they're doing a lot of positive things, but unfortunately losses overshine a lot of that positivity. But we try to really remind them of it. And your stats and stories really help me do that. So thank you.
Yeah, this stretch goes back to the first time we played New Orleans. That was the first of this, 5 straight games of out rebounding our opponents. And really, if you look at those, 5 games, we're maybe a minute in 2 of those from being 5-0 in that stretch as well. And
that's what's really heartbreaking. I feel like we've used that word a few too many times this year, but we're 2 and 3 possessions away from 5-0. Adding 5 more wins to the column. A lot of people will say, well, you got to learn how to win. Well, they learned how to win on Saturday. Sometimes it's not that simple, but it's not for lack of effort. We're really trying. I think obviously there's a handful of possessions where we're doing it to ourselves, not to detract from anybody else's efforts against us. But again, that same phrase, we got to commit to correcting ourselves, and it's a pretty special ball team with a good group of girls. So we just got to stay the course, keep them believing, and that's our job as a staff, is just to keep pouring into them and make sure that they know we trust them, they know we believe in them, and that's going to obviously help them build that belief system inside themselves.
Like I said at the beginning, every game from here on out is wildly important, especially with the log jam of teams there sort of fighting for that 4 through 8 spots in the tournament. New Orleans coming in 5-5. We had a really, really good game against them down there a couple weeks ago, but they've won 2 games since then, and they're a team that you can't take lightly. You gotta.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. And as you watch film, and excuse me, I have something in my eye, but as you watch film, our girls played really well that game. I thought collectively, both offensively and defensively, it was just a seamless effort. Knocking down shots always obviously helps the cause. But I will say maybe a couple things were out of characteristic for UNO, and so you can't expect that same exact response or same exact result. They're an incredibly good team, coached by an incredibly good coach. She's doing really well in this first year, especially coming in a little bit late, but she has those kids playing hard, and they've got a lot of talent, and they got a lot of defensive pressure. So we're going to have to be 100% better even than when we were the first time we played them. It's a good ball team, and we're neck and neck right now in those standings.
And hopefully a little less drama than the last time they were here, right?
Yeah, I heard it last night watching our men versus Nichols men, and they called them the cardiac colonels. I'm sure we have one of those nicknames as well, because we either keep you on the edge of your seat or about to fall off your seat. So ideally we just kind of curb that. Let's keep some of the drama out of the game. But at the end of the day, if it comes out with a win, then, like we tell them, we got to do whatever it takes.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you. Borkum.